Did you know when Jean Harlo left the world, she was only 26? Just like her, we lost many old Hollywood celebrities who were too young to leave this world. Today, we will revisit 23 old Hollywood icons whose departures still echo through cinema history, tracing the moments that stole them far too soon and the legacies that keep their names glowing on the marquee. Number 1. Bobby Driscoll, 1937–1968. Walt Disney once called Bobby Driscoll his everyday boy, and audiences believed it. From Song of the South to the swashbuckling Treasure Island, Bobby embodied spirited adventure, later voicing the forever young Peter Pan. Yet as the studio system shifted, roles dried up, and the former child star drifted east, chasing stage work in New York City. In March 1968, neighborhood children exploring a vacant building discovered his body. Officials traced his identity through fingerprints. Doctors cited arterial hardening linked to prolonged substance struggles, a condition unusual for someone only 31. Because no family had come forward, Bobby was initially buried in an unmarked Hart Island plot. It wasn't until a year later, when his mother searched missing person files, that the studio learned of his passing. Today, a modest marker near Disneyland's Peter Pan ride honors the boy who once taught generations to think happy thoughts. Number 2. James Dean, 1931–1955. In 3 films, East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, James Dean turned youthful angst into near myth. Off-camera, he raced motorbikes across California deserts, craving speed as much as stardom. On 30 September 1955, Dean steered his silver Porsche 550 Spider toward a Salinas race, encountering a Ford sedan at a rural junction. The collision crumpled the Porsche, and Dean, only 24, never regained consciousness. Newspapers printed his final safety campaign quote, "Drive safe, the life you save might be mine," as chilling prophecy. Posthumously, he earned 2 Oscar nominations and inspired countless leather jacket rebels. Each year fans gather at the crash site to leave flowers, license plates, and the occasional red jacket, proving that some legends never obey the speed limit of time. Number 3. Jean Harlo, 1911–1937. Before Marilyn, there was Jean Harlo, the platinum blonde whose sly wink lit up pre-code classics Red-Headed Woman and Dinner at 8. While filming Saratoga opposite Clark Gable, Harlo began experiencing fatigue and swelling. What doctors first labeled influenza soon revealed itself as acute kidney failure, untreatable in 1937. Surrounded by studio executives desperate to protect their headline star, Jean passed away at 26. MGM completed Saratoga with careful stand-ins, and the film became an instant hit, though audiences could sense the finality in her last scene. In Hollywood lore, Harlo remains the glamorous comet who proved fame's bright glow can conceal unseen health shadows. Number 4. Marilyn Monroe, 1926–1962. Sparkling in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and disarming in Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot, Marilyn Monroe crafted an image equal parts charm and curiosity. Yet by 1962, she juggled studio pressure, health concerns, and high-profile relationships. On 5th August, a housekeeper found her at home in Brentwood. Investigators cited an acute reaction to prescribed barbiturates. She was 36. Rumors swirl to this day, but what remains certain is her cultural imprint. Fashion lines mimic her white dress twirl, and every aspiring comic actor studies her champagne, bubbly timing. Forsaking sensational theories, fans celebrate the woman who taught the world that vulnerability can be its own superpower. Number 5. Jane Mansfield, 1933–1967. Jane Mansfield embraced flamboyance, pink convertibles, heart-shaped pools, and cheeky comedies like The Girl Can't Help It. After a nightclub appearance in June 1967, her driver raced along a fog-blanketed Mississippi highway. Their car struck a slow-moving tractor-trailer, shearing off the roof. Jane, her companion, and the driver perished instantly. 3 of her 5 children in the back seat survived. Among them, future actor Mariska Hargitay. She was 34. Laws now require underride guards on large trucks, a safety measure informally dubbed the Mansfield Bar. Though often labeled a publicity whirlwind, Jane's legacy endures in that simple life-saving steel. Number 6. Judy Garland, 1922–1969. From Kansas farm girl Dorothy Gale to the torch song powerhouse of A Star Is Born, Judy Garland spent her life on stage. Decades of rigorous studio schedules and concert tours taxed her health. In London on June 22, 1969, she succumbed to an accidental barbiturate overdose at 47. Fans lined the street outside Frank E. Campbell Funeral Chapel in New York, some softly humming Over the Rainbow. Garland's passing prompted reforms in child actor welfare and remains a touchstone for discussions on balancing artistry with well-being. Every June, pride parades worldwide echo her signature song, a rainbow-hued tribute to resilience. Number 7. Natalie Wood, 1938–1981. A screen presence since age 8, Natalie Wood transitioned seamlessly from Miracle on 34th Street, Ingenue, to the fiery Maria in West Side Story. Over Thanksgiving weekend 1981, she joined husband Robert Wagner and friend Christopher Walken aboard their yacht Splendor near Catalina Island. Sometime that night, she disappeared. Searchers later found her in the water, and investigators ruled it an accidental drowning at 43. Debate over the precise events still resurfaces, yet Wood's artistry outshines the mystery. Her longing gaze in the final shot of Rebel Without a Cause remains one of cinema's most indelible images. Number 8. Sal Mano, 1939–1976. Sal Mano stole hearts opposite James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause, earning an Oscar nomination at 17. Years later, his career rebounded with stage triumphs and TV guest roles. On the 12th of February, 1976, returning to his Los Angeles apartment after rehearsal, he encountered a robber. A single knife wound proved fatal. Sal was 37. Police arrested Lionel Williams, who later received a life sentence. Mano's students completed the play he was directing, dedicating each performance to the mentor who urged them to tell the truth, even when it shakes. Number 9. Carole Lombard, 1908–1942. Dizzy comedic timing made Carole Lombard a screwball comedy queen in 20th Century and My Man Godfrey. In January 1942, she headlined a Bond rally tour, raising millions for the war effort. Eager to return to husband Clark Gable, she boarded Transcontinental and Western Air Flight 3. The plane clipped Nevada's Potosi Mountain. All aboard perished. Lombard was 33rd. President Roosevelt hailed her as the first woman casualty of wartime service, and Gable enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces days later. Hollywood's laughter dimmed, yet every rapid-fire rom-com still borrows her blueprint. Number 10. Robert Walker, 1918–1951. Quiet-voiced and polite off-screen, Robert Walker was Hollywood's study in contrasts. He charmed audiences as the wholesome soldier in Since You Went Away. Yet it was his unnerving sociopath Bruno Antony in Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train that cemented his legend. Walker's personal life carried equal drama. A whirlwind marriage to future star Jennifer Jones ended when she fell for producer David O. Selznick. The split, coupled with wartime service pressures, left Walker battling chronic insomnia and anxiety. By August 1951, a physician treated him at home with intravenous sedatives, unaware earlier prescriptions still lingered in his system. The interaction slowed Robert's heart beyond recovery. He was only 32. Hitchcock later said no actor had ever eclipsed charm with menace so effortlessly. Today, film study classes still dissect Walker's whispered line, "I like you," as the prototype for modern screen villains, made even more haunting by the knowledge that its creator exited the stage within weeks of filming. Number 11. Rudolph Valentino, 1895–1926. Before talkies, the silver screen needed no words, just Rudolph Valentino's smoldering gaze. Dubbed the Latin Lover, he electrified audiences in The Chic and Blood and Sand, teaching post-war America to swoon. Yet fame carried a toll. Grueling travel, demanding studio schedules, and relentless gossip, questioning everything from his accent to his masculinity. In August 1926, Valentino collapsed at Manhattan's Hotel Ambassador. Surgeons diagnosed appendicitis, complicated by gastric ulcers, but peritonitis set in. Over 100,000 mourners lined New York streets for his funeral, prompting police to summon the National Guard. Newspapers described fainting fans and a runaway horse startled by the crowds. A second service in Beverly Hills drew starlets in lace mantillas, tossing gardenias onto the bronze casket. Each year, admirers clad in black leaf roses at his Hollywood Forever crypt. A century-long vigil proving silent film charisma still whispers through marble corridors and moonlit screenings on summer lawns. Number 12. Russ Colomo, 1908–1934. Russ Colomo's velvety croon rivaled Bing Crosby, and his songwriting prowess birthed standards like Prisoner of Love. Nicknamed the Romeo of radio, he balanced concerts with film roles opposite Carole Lombard, whom he reportedly courted before she wed Clark Gable. On 2 September 1934, Colomo visited photographer Lansing Brown, an antique firearm enthusiast. Brown demonstrated a Civil War revolver, striking a match on its hammer. Unaware a broken percussion cap still lodged inside. The spark launched a lead fragment that ricocheted off a table and pierced Russ's skull. He died within minutes at 26. The death stunned Hollywood. Brown, shattered by guilt, was cleared of wrongdoing. Studios quickly adopted new policies. Live ammunition replicas were banned from publicity shoots, and armorers began inspecting every historical prop. Colomo's final recording, an unreleased lullaby for his mother, aired posthumously, its gentle refrain underscoring a voice silenced by a freak twist of fate and a single spark of carelessness. Number 13. Renee Adore, 1898–1933. Born Jeanne de la Fonte in rural France, Renee Adore danced through European circuses before Hollywood beckoned. Her expressive eyes and naturalism captivated director King Vidor, who cast her opposite John Gilbert in The Big Parade, a silent WWI epic that broke box office records. Fame followed, yet so did fatigue and coughing spells. Diagnosed with tuberculosis in 1930, Renee refused to retreat quietly. She accepted supporting parts, arriving on set bundled in furs to ward off drafts. When health deteriorated, MGM executives built a special bungalow surrounded by flower beds at the Pottinger Sanatorium so she could gaze out at color while resting. On the 5th of October, 1933, she passed at 35, clutching a script marked with hopeful future roles. MGM halted production for 2 minutes, dimming studio lights, an honor rarely afforded to foreign-born stars then. Modern preservationists credit Adore's nuanced performances for showing that silent acting could be subtle, honest, and profoundly moving. Number 14. Leslie Howard, 1893–1943. Elegant and cerebral, Leslie Howard mastered both stage and screen, earning Oscar nominations for Berkeley Square and George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. As Ashley Wilkes in Gone with the Wind, he embodied Southern gentility, yet off-camera Howard championed Britain's fight against tyranny. During World War II, he toured neutral countries, lecturing on democratic ideals and rumored to relay information for British intelligence. On 1 June 1943, he boarded KLM Flight 777 from Lisbon to Bristol. German fighters mistook the civilian airliner for a military target, or possibly aimed for Howard himself, believing Churchill or a high-level spy was aboard. All 17 passengers perished over the Bay of Biscay. Howard was 50. The British government hailed him as an unofficial envoy. Hollywood colleagues mourned the actor who proved intellect could be as compelling as brawn. Each Remembrance Day, Film Institute's screen Pimpernel Smith, Howard's anti-Nazi thriller, honoring an artist who fought tyranny with both words and deed. Number 15. Dorothy Dell, 1915–1934. Dorothy Dell's star ascended with meteoric speed. Crowned Miss New Orleans at 15, she conquered Broadway revues before Paramount paired her with Shirley Temple in Little Miss Marker, where her warm hug softened a nation gripped by depression hardship. Studio publicists branded her a laugh wrapped in moonlight, scheduling leads opposite Cary Grant and Bing Crosby. After performing at a charity rodeo on June 8, 1934, she accepted a late-night drive down the rain-slick Pacific Coast Highway. The car skidded, struck a telephone pole, and overturned. Dell died instantly at 19. Paramount shelved future scripts penned for her, and Shirley Temple kept a scrapbook of clippings, later calling Dorothy the sister the screen stole too soon. Modern historians cite Dell when discussing Hollywood's rapid rise system, reminding that overnight fame offered little armor against real-world hazards lurking beyond studio gates and glittering spotlights. Number 16. Adrien Ames, 1907–1947. With sleek coiffures and feathered gowns, Adrien Ames epitomized 1930s cosmopolitan glamour. Transitioning from bit parts to leading roles in films like George White's Scandals, she became a fixture of society pages, her marriage to actor Bruce Cabot making red carpet headlines. When cinematic offers waned, Ames reinvented herself on radio, hosting Strictly Personal, a live weekday chat show from Manhattan that mixed style tips, theater gossip, and heartfelt soldier shoutouts. Listeners loved her velvet drawl and unhurried cadence. In 1946, she disclosed a battle with cervical cancer, yet continued broadcasting, seated on cushions to ease pain. During final weeks, she pre-recorded episodes so audiences never heard a falter. She passed on 31st May, 1947, age 39. Colleagues praised her foresight in pivoting to new media, years before most film stars considered microphones their next marquee. Today, media scholars credit Ames as a blueprint for screen legends gracefully bridging into talk show intimacy. Number 17. Thelma Todd, 1906–1935. Dubbed Hot Toddy, Thelma Todd delivered rapid-fire wit opposite the Marx Brothers in Horse Feathers and Laurel and Hardy in The Bohemian Girl. Seeking stability beyond slapstick, she opened Thelma Todd's Sidewalk Cafe on Pacific Coast Highway, attracting celebrities and beachcombers alike. Early on the 16th of December 1935, she was discovered in her car within a friend's garage above the cafe access road. Investigators concluded exhaust fumes had built up overnight, causing carbon monoxide poisoning. Rumors quickly suggested foul play involving business associates or a disgruntled partner. Coroners found no decisive evidence, and the case closed as accidental. She was 29. Each December, film buffs leave white gardenias at the hillside garage, Hollywood's silent nod to a comedic genius whose final act remains unscripted. Todd's success as both performer and entrepreneur paved the way for future actresses pursuing parallel careers outside the major studio grip. Number 18. Carol Landis, 1919-1948. Carol Landis conquered prehistoric spectacle, 1 million BC, clad in faux fur, then dazzled in 1940s musicals and noir thrillers. During World War II, she joined 4 morale tours, visiting more overseas bases than any other actress, often performing on tents perched near frontline artillery. The grueling travel impacted her health, and Hollywood's post-war landscape offered fewer substantial roles. On the 5th of July, 1948, friends found her at home surrounded by farewell notes and medication bottles. She was 29. Newspapers hinted at a secret romance with a married leading man. Studios pushed for quiet to protect reputations. Landis's passing sparked overdue conversations about mental wellness resources for performers confronting stalled careers. Decades later, biographers highlight her selfless wartime service. Over 100,000 service members heard her voice, yet her own pleas for purpose went unanswered in peacetime Hollywood. Number 19. Peg Entwistle, 1908-1932. Broadway critics once hailed Peg Entwistle as the girl with an incandescent future. RKO lured her west, but after 13 women test screenings trimmed her scenes, new offers evaporated. Financial strain and homesickness weighed heavily. On September 16, 1932, she hiked Griffith Park's steep trails, climbed a ladder behind the Hollywoodland sign, and leapt from the 45-foot-tall H. She was 24. The following morning, hikers found her shoes, jacket, and a note expressing despair. Later that day, a letter from Studio Central Casting arrived at her apartment, inviting her to star in a drama about a woman driven to loss of hope, an eerie coincidence reinforcing Hollywood's mercurial timing. Restorers added safety fencing when refurbishing the sign in 1949, citing Peg's tragedy. Modern walkers leave daisies beneath the H icon, a gentle reminder that behind every dreamer's silhouette there may be silent battles unseen above the bright hillside letters. Number 20. George Reeves, 1914-1959. Before caped epics dominated multiplexes, George Reeves flew across black and white TV screens as Superman, inspiring children to race through backyards with makeshift capes. Yet the fame that delighted viewers hemmed Reeves into a single identity. Casting agents assumed audiences wouldn't accept the chiseled hero in anything else. On 15th June 1959, Reeves hosted friends and fiancée Leonore Lemon at his Benedict Canyon home. In the early hours, a gunshot echoed upstairs. Police concluded the wound was self-inflicted, but discrepancies, no fingerprints on the weapon, conflicting witness accounts, fueled decades of speculation. He was 45. Fans lined the block with Superman lunchboxes and letters reading, "You were our hero." The Screen Actors Guild later highlighted Reeves's case when lobbying for wider role diversity, stressing how typecasting can confine not just careers, but personal identities. Today, collectors prize his costume's modest cape, a tangible relic of the first man to make audiences believe a hero could truly fly. Number 21. Lupe Veles, 1908–1944. Fiery, comedic, and unapologetically Mexican, Lupe Veles blazed through silent epics like The Gaucho before top-lining the hit Mexican Spitfire film series. She championed Latinx representation and funded struggling immigrant families, yet studio publicity often reduced her to temperamental stereotypes. In December 1944, reportedly expecting a child and coping with a turbulent romance, Veles arranged her bedroom with fragrant orchids and candlelight, later consuming a large quantity of prescribed sleeping tablets. She was discovered the next morning, age 36. Press agents sanitized narratives to protect her comedic legacy, but later biographies detailed her struggle to reconcile Hollywood caricatures with authentic self-worth. Veles's bold screen energy inspired future stars like Rita Moreno and Salma Hayek, proving that charisma undimmed by adversity can echo across cultural generations, urging Hollywood toward richer, fuller Latin stories. Number 22. Olive Thomas, 1894–1920. With bobbed hair and mischievous eyes, Olive Thomas symbolized jazz-age exuberance, notably in The Flapper, which introduced the slang term to mainstream America. Vacationing in Paris with husband Jack Pickford, Olive wandered their hotel suite in the early hours of 10th September 1920 and mistakenly drank from a bottle containing Jack's topical mercury bichloride solution, used to treat a medical issue and lethal if ingested. Despite frantic hospital care, she died at 25. Shockwaves rippled across continents, French pharmacies tightened toxin labeling laws, and studios instituted mandatory multilingual warnings on medication containers for traveling talent. The New Amsterdam Theatre, where Olive once reigned as a Ziegfeld favorite, preserves her memory with a lobby portrait. Stagehands still whisper of a shimmering figure in a silvery gown gliding across the mezzanine on quiet rehearsal nights. Olive, perhaps, savoring eternal applause. Number 23. Margaret Sullivan, 1909–1960. Margaret Sullivan's raspy voice and tender realism elevated classics like The Shop Around the Corner, where her banter with James Stewart defined romantic sparring for decades. Off-screen, she navigated partial hearing loss that caused vertigo and social anxiety. Yet she insisted directors keep dialogue natural, pioneering understated screen acting. After 3 marriages and concerns for her children's well-being in show business, Sullivan reduced film work, focusing on stage appearances. On New Year's Day 1960, she was found in a New Haven hotel, having taken an excessive amount of prescribed medication amid reported exhaustion. She was 50. Colleagues lamented that Hollywood's optimist, who once claimed, "There's a miracle hidden in every ordinary day," succumbed to private shadows. Daughter Brooke Hayward's memoir, Haywire, later illuminated the pressures creative families face, prompting industry unions to expand counseling resources. Sullivan's films today remind viewers that genuine warmth on screen can still flicker long after lights fade on set. From matinee idols to trailblazing comedians, these expanded portraits deepen our understanding of Hollywood's brightest stars, whose stories ended abruptly. May their lives inspire safer working environments, thoughtful health care, and storytelling that honors both glamour and the people beneath it.